it sounds like the exact right time for this film to be coming out.
And you know, for
That's
filmmakers, you know, I was a musician at first, and what I think filmmakers should, whatever they were before, or you take everything that you know and everything that you do, and you put it in, you use it for your film making.
Excellent. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you know, as a filmmaker, and try and wrap up with maybe one or two more questions here, but as a filmmaker, what specifically were you bringing to this, other than just, you know, an interest in the story? As a filmmaker, we're all telling stories, but why this story?
Well, there's a story about that. I don't know if you have time for it, but I'll tell it.
Go for it.
You
we would
cut
love
it.
to know it.
You can
No,
get it.
absolutely.
At the time, I was telling this, an audience member asked me this today,
Okay.
and I'm a fan. I was a fan,
Yep.
you know. Okay, and at the time that Keiko was, I didn't know anything about Keiko until I'm a cancer patient. At the time that Keiko was being moved from Mexico to Newport, Oregon, I was very ill and was suffering from some side effects of some chemotherapy and treatment. And I was very ill, and I was watching television, and Keiko, every time, Keiko sneezed. You know.
It was the media hit sensation.
Yeah. 5 minutes ago, Keiko burped. And so that was on 24/7, you know,
Right.
his move. And I thought, I was very, because I was so sick, and they were describing him as a sick whale, and he had this papillomavirus, and I watched him dump him in the aquarium when he finally got there, and he just went, ugh. And that's kind of how I felt. It was just, ugh. you know? And so when I got better, I went to go visit him. And Keiko had a way of holding court. And in the film, you get to see, you know, the huge windows of the Oregon Coast Aquarium. And Keiko goes from person to person. How are you? How are you? Yeah. And then some people he would just zero in on. What are we doing today?
Mainly kids.
Yeah, mainly kids. And we got that all on film. It's great. Awesome. And so when I went there to see him, I won't go into a long story, but he came right to me and banged really hard against the window, right in front of me, and it was kind of frightening. And I thought the glass was going to break. But we had a very interesting exchange there. And it hit me really hard. And you know, as an artist, that when something hits you really hard and resonates, and he put on a big show and came back and, what do you think?
Yeah.
You know, he kind of did that. What do you think? You know, and then there's little kids, look, Mom, you know, it was just an event for me, and probably because of where I was with my life, and when you have a life-threatening thing and you're touching the membrane, and then you see this huge it just had an impact, and so I went home and started writing some music to it.
Awesome.
And then it started developing.
And I just want to add something quickly too, that when you think about, you mentioned the Cove, you know, Earth Island where I worked, we were much involved in that.
Awesome.
And this is very telling now, because it's all related. It's about the trade in dolphins and whales. We consider it illegal, even though it's legal. We think there should be no removal of any marine mammals from the wild, period. The wildlife trade in dolphins and whales is a big problem, and this film will help continue educating the public why they should not buy tickets to these places.
Right. That exploit this.
Yeah.
Whether they're an aquarium, you know, with a fancy name to it, non-profit aquarium.
Right.
It's got dolphins. It's no different than the for-profit. To give you an idea, Anheuser-Busch called Dick Donner. They tried to get him to change the end of the script from Keiko going to the wild, or Free Willy going to the wild.
Yeah.
They wanted him to make it Free Willy going from a bad tank to a big tank, to show you the kind of power they tried to wield at that time.
Been a much less climatic film, I think.
Exactly.
It never would have been made.
That's why Anheuser-Busch probably shouldn't write films.
Yeah, and that's why Warner Brothers and Dick Donner told him to go forget about it.
Somebody did ask us at the end of this film, there were some teachers, and I just wanted to let people know, because it's not only, we take Keiko, we take people, in order to understand what happened to Keiko and what happened to him in Iceland, and it's a bittersweet story. It's not just ta-da-da, it's, you know, it's there's some truth to it, but there's some good things and there's some difficult things to take about what happened. So in the beginning of the film, we tell the life story of a baby to adulthood, and put it in terms of Keiko, so that when you get to Iceland and you get to Norway, you understand what happened and why it happened and why Keiko made the decisions he made and what he did. At the end of the film, what we've been asked to do, so we're doing it. In fact, when I go home, we're hiring a curriculum writer for the schools because people want the film in the schools, but we don't want them just to take the film and not have some support around that.
Absolutely.
So we're now being asked as filmmakers to help write curriculum for the school. What a wonderful thing to be able to get to,
it's amazing.
to get to do.
And the cycle of the children starting the movement, starting in the film, and it all kind of intertwining. That's a pretty impressive story.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
really
am just sort of taken with the idea that a lot of the children who saw the film in '93, are young adults now, and they might be coming to see this documentary to
That'd
find
be
out what
amazing.
happened to.
Oh, they actually called me. You still have the Keiko adoption kit for my kid, because they said mine's all worn out when I was a kid. I need one for my kid.
well,
It's multi-generational.
yeah,
And we keep telling the producers of the Free Willy films, they started something really big. They don't even think about that.
I was
until
going to
we
say
remind them.
it's one of those things they probably aren't even aware of.
Well,
So-
Jenny Lou Tugend, who was one of the producers of the Free Willy film, we went to a very small festival in Los Angeles, the film festival, and she came and screened the festival there with another producer, CC.
She's an associate producer,
Associate
CC
producer.
member with the Donner.
Okay.
With the Donner Company, and they saw the film and they liked it so much that they gave us an official statement to use as producers of the Free Willy film. So it's like, wow, it's great.
Awesome.
It's really great.
Well, I just want to say, do you guys have a website where people can
Yes,
check out?
Keiko The Untold Story.
Okay. Fantastic. And you can check out more of our blogs at thenickelcitycollective.com/blog. So
Thank you.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.